So, as I've mentioned in previous videos, my depression really started to come about after I finished up my undergraduate degree at McGill. And in hindsight, while there were a lot of reasons and events that contributed to me eventually getting help, and from there eventually going on antidepressants and all that, a huge reason why I became depressed was because this structure that I'd known for my whole life really just fell apart. It was the structure of school. Once I finished school, there were no more rules, concrete deadlines, timelines, no more objective measures for success like grades. It was crazy to think that next September I didn't have to be in school. I could actually be anywhere. And that's the thing. I had, for the first time in my life, actual choices. Actual choices that stretched further than the parameters given to you when you're a student. And I didn't know what to do. I didn't know which option or options to pick. And I became stuck. I became paralyzed. There's this experiment that was done in the early 2000s where the researchers were curious about whether more options of a given product would result in more sales. So what they did was they set up a booth in a grocery store with 24 jam options and another booth with 6 jam options. And they told consumers that if they bought a jam, they would receive 10% off on the purchase. The hypothesis was that because of more options to choose from, the customers were more likely to buy a jam when presented with the 24 options rather than the 6 options. What happened was actually the opposite. Less options, less choice led to a decision being made, and a decision on not only which jam to want to buy, but a decision to stick through with that choice and actually buy the jam. So a big thing that came out of that experiment was this notion that the more choice you have, the less likely you are to make a choice. And that's because you become paralyzed from all your options. Looking back on my life after I finished my undergrad, and really on the life of your typical recent grad, our lives become like that 24 jam option. My life most certainly was. I had options. A lot of them. I could apply for a job. I could go for more school. I could travel. I could work on these psych videos that I've always wanted to make. I could also live in Toronto, in Montreal, Vancouver. So many choices. And then it's like, okay, I'm going to apply for a job. Okay, what kind of job? Well, I like this, and I could try that, and ooh, but that's a promising career. Ooh, but wait, but so-and-so, he's working in that field, so maybe I should do that. But ooh, but wait. So-and-so and so-and-so are going to travel in a few months. Maybe I should go travel. Ooh, but where should I travel? Maybe that classic Southeast Asia trip, because so-and-so's latest Facebook album about their Southeast Asia trip looks amazing. And ooh, and ooh, and ooh, and ooh, and ooh. Oh. What the fuck am I going to do? I had no idea because, again, for the first time in my life, there was no one or nothing really telling me what to do. I no longer had a class syllabus in front of me telling me what was coming next. Looking back, we have it pretty good as students. We're told when to go to class, what material to study for an exam, when to hand in assignments, when to write our finals, when to go for winter and summer break, when to come back from break. We're told what's considered a good grade, what's not considered a good grade. We're told what days we should go out and party. We're told where we should be going out. When you stop and think about it, so much is structured within the parameters of university life. So yeah, after McGill, I became overwhelmed with choice, which led to paralysis, which led to inactivity, which led to a loss of confidence, which led to this understanding and very uncomfortable realization that I was 23 and I was unemployed and I was recently heartbroken and single and just not having any concrete direction or purpose or goals or even just something to look forward to. I went from this life with so much structure to, in the blink of an eye, a life with so little. Makes sense why I was becoming depressed. If you don't have a reason to get up in the morning, trust me, from my own experience, if you don't have a reason to get up in the morning, you won't get up in the morning. For me, it was that simple. So to quickly come back to an idea from the first video, a rational way to think about all this would be, why didn't I take the time in university to properly prepare for my next steps, to make a plan, to set goals, all that stuff? I should have been doing that. We all should have been doing that. I thought like that a lot. And I blamed myself so much, too much, for not preparing, for the rest of my life. But then as I got older, I'm 26 right now, and I've accumulated some real world experience, I'm happy to say that I've lost a lot of that blame. Looking back, I was asking a lot from 21, 22-year-old Brian. I was asking him to make concrete decisions about the rest of my life. That's asking a lot. All 21-year-old Brian knew was school, was the student life. His whole identity up to that point had been that of a student. He didn't fully know what was coming next. He didn't know what a world of so many choices looked like, felt like. Some of the biggest choices he was making at that time was simply which 5 courses to take each semester or where to go out on a Friday night. So I just want to end by reiterating that you don't have to put all this pressure on yourself to figure it out before you finish your undergrad or right after you finish your undergrad. You're allowed to not fully know what to do in the face of the unknown. You're allowed to be exposed to a lot of choices. You're allowed to be paralyzed by those choices. Trust me, at 26, I can tell you that this whole make a plan and stick with it is a lot easier said than done. Don't get me wrong, a lot of people do make a plan and they do pull it off and they do know what they want after university and they do go for it and it's awesome. But still, trust me, overall, it's a lot easier said than done. Even for those whose entire family are lawyers or doctors or professors and they've been exposed to what their parents do all their lives, and as such, they also decide to go to law school or med school or grad school. Even for them, trust me, it's still a lot easier said than done. So yeah, don't beat yourself up if you get paralyzed from all the choice. And actually, in the next video, I'm going to be talking a bit about why we do actually have so much choice to begin with. So yeah, Don't beat yourself up. It's not uncommon. It's not your fault.